Hello and welcome to another history special. And you join me in the Slovakian city of Kosice. And today I'm going to take a look around Miklus Prison. Now this prison comprises two buildings. Both are from the first half of the 15th century. At the beginning of the 17th century, both houses were united and reconstructed to serve as the town's prison and torture chamber. From 1872, when the jurisdiction was separated from the town council, the building was a prison of the town police until 1909. In 1911, it became a museum. So let's go down inside the museum, inside the former prison, and discover what's inside and have a look at those torture chambers. This is the former executioner's house here by Miklus Prison in Kosice. Behind me there's a display of the tools of his trade, the various swords used to end the lives of the condemned. We walk through this little seating area. It really is remarkably well preserved. It's absolutely incredible here, it really is. We just walk through the door, and this leads into the main part of the prison and also the exhibition area as well. These are the old cells. Just go to this one. You can see the original door on the front. This is where the prisoners would have been housed. This contains a little display of apothecary, scales and things, and also of early books. One of the industries here in Kosice. Really rather fascinating to see. There's another cell just across the way. And they're quite spacious. Probably accommodated a lot of prisoners. It's really rather interesting just to take a look. There's actually a preserved cell just round the corner here. Let's walk down this passageway. As you walk through, you can see the straw trellis bed, shackles. Looks like a chamber pot of some description. Very basic. Far better perhaps than some cells that I've seen in other castles. Absolutely fascinating to take a walk around here. It really is. Just imagine what this prison might have been like, with all the condemned in the cells, waiting for the executioner to summon them for their execution. Absolutely fascinating walking through here. Really is incredible the amount of different items they have on display. Just walk through to this other cell. Again, it's quite spacious in this one. There's a lovely stove in the corner. Dates from the late 18th century. Keeps the prisoners warm. And this particular cell holds an exhibition of minting. They minted coins here in Kosice at one point. There's some lovely showcase drawings and coins on display. Really is fascinating just visiting old prisons, especially one that's been turned into such an excellent museum. I walk back through the door into the main lobby area, in entrance area. There's some more cells downstairs. So I'll go down these steps. Really is a lovely old gate on the door as well. Halfway down. Really is absolutely fascinating down here. Walk down And there's even more cells. There's another one here with a straw trellis bed. Let's go through here. On the walls are all the chains where the prisoners would have been shackled. These particular ones went around their head and their arms went into the slots in front. God, I can't imagine being shackled in one of those. Rather grim. See the bars on the windows as well. Life in this prison must have been grim. It's quite incredible to actually walk around here and see it. It's nice that it has been preserved. Let's walk back out into the corridor. Look up and you can see the old wooden steps. They certainly had some use. Just think of all the people that have traversed those steps on their way to their execution. Absolutely amazing, it really is. There's another door here which goes down into the basements. Let's take a look. This is the underneath of the prison. Oh, this is incredible. You can see prisoners here, the mannequins representing the prisoners. Difference in air temperature down here as well. It's just incredible to see this. So the bench where prisoners would have been shackled to. Maybe some sort of torture bench. I've not come across one of those before. But it's incredible. Looks like there's an entrance through here in some sort of chapel. Let's just go through this entrance area. There's a makeshift altar on the wall. Whether it was a chapel or not, it's just been preserved as a chapel, I'm not sure. There's a table, there's a chair. Looks like some sort of leg shackle as well, with spikes on the inside. Another instrument of torture, no doubt. Gosh, I can't imagine what must have happened down here. There's even an entrance or a hole in the ceiling to one of the upper rooms here in the chapel. So whoever's upstairs can look down at the prisoners. And there's a tunnel here. Let's go through this tunnel. This goes into another cell. It's rather damp in here. I see broken pottery and bits of rock on the ground. Must have been very unpleasant in here. What with natural bodily odours and chamber pots. Not to mention the sounds of the suffering of the prisoners. Absolutely amazing. Let's walk back into the chapel. And go through back into the outer chamber. See the beams on the roof Perhaps people were hung from there. Another instrument of torture. There's a pulley as well. I dread to think what that was used for. But there are some stocks there as well. This was the business end of the prison. You can just sense in here that this was not a good place. This was an area of suffering. Feel it in the air. But there's another room through here, so I'll go through this archway. Not sure what this room might have been used for. There's more broken pottery on the ground. Some little shelving on the side. There's another doorway here, look at archway. Go through here. Just another cell. It's very humid in this section. It was cold over by the chapel area, but it's very humid here. Feels strange. Quite incredible down here, it really is. The brickwork and the array of tunnels and little rooms. Just go straight across into this other room. Again, this is quite different to the others. I'm wondering whether, because the prison was located by the former city walls, these were built in the sort of 13th century onwards. I'm wondering whether this was part of the tunnels that were used as part of the tunnels to the fortifications of Kosice. And when this area was developed, sort of the 16th century, 17th century, that they made use of the old walls and the tunnels. There's a window at the back here. It's been bricked up. You can see it's fairly modern brickwork. There's another part of the tunnel that goes down there. This particular area is very reminiscent of the old tunnels that I walked through the other day here in Kosice, down towards the bastions. I'm wondering whether this might be part of that. This area has undergone extensive renovation since the later part of the 17th century. But it really is absolutely fascinating just walking back into this outer chamber. I know there are extensive water channels or sewers within the city. Perhaps these might have been originally designed as water channels or sewers. But it really is absolutely fascinating to take a look down here, especially the brickwork. See the reddish bricks, but the stonework as well. And this stonework again was very evident in the fortifications of the eastern gate of Kosice that I looked at the other day. Originally 3 entrance gates into the city and 37 towers dotted along, I think it was 37, dotted along the walls of the city. There was a moat, an outer layer of walls and an outer moat. And this is what I explored the other day in my video from Kosice, my first video. There's a lot of familiar sights here in terms of internal architecture and these tunnels. Absolutely amazing. Well, let's walk back up to the first floor, the ground floor, and see what else we can discover in the rooms up there. It's been absolutely fascinating exploring all these little rooms downstairs. Walk back up this staircase. See the wooden beams that make up the steps. Some on the top here have seen better days. It's amazing, it really is. So walk up the top, go into this room. Yeah, there's the grill which looks down into the chapel. There's some information about this particular room, and it turns out this was the kitchen, and that hatch down to the chapel was where food and water could be delivered to the prisoners. And in the middle here is a chair. This is the executioner's chair. The condemned would have sat on the chair facing the backrest, and then the executioner would have taken their head off. There's some photographs on the wall here which show that procedure, and also demonstrates other photographs which demonstrate the torture devices we saw a few minutes ago: the bench, the stocks, and the neck and wrist restraints. Really interesting to see this. Just incredible. Looking at the items on display here. I've seen so many execution sites on my travels, from the Tower of London to the Tyburn, and to the execution site in Prushev, and here in Kosice. But it's interesting to see the implements that were used, the chair, the swords, here on display, and that those have survived. Absolutely fascinating. As I walk down here, these other cells, it's one cell with a display of pottery. Green pottery was produced in large quantities here in Kosice in around the 17th, 18th centuries. There's an old potter's wheel in this room, some other jugs, and a display cabinet full of pottery. And most of this pottery was found in the basements. This was originally a couple of houses which they put together to create this prison. And this room would have been a mixed room for male and female prisoners. It's just wonderful looking at it. And all the old photographs on the walls as well. Really is one of the best preserved prison museums that I've come across. I visited a few museums in England and other places in Europe, but what's downstairs in the basements really is quite incredible. And there's another room just up the end, so I walk into that room because I've just had a look inside, and it's quite interesting. There's a map on display which actually shows the old walls of Kosice. Now, when I walked through the foundations the other day, all there was the digital display. But this is a wooden map of what Kosice might have looked like. You can see the double moats, and you can see the bastion where this prison was built. So you can see such detail on these maps. It really is. It's wonderful. There's some graffiti as well up on the board behind me. It's nice to see medieval graffiti. Well, I say it's not medieval. This is 17th and 18th century graffiti. So much information here. So many pictures and illustrations on the walls. It's well worth visiting if you happen to come to Kosice. But let's head back up to the upper levels and take a look at the outside of the building and try and see if there's any trace of any of the old city walls here in this part of Kosice. I found some information in the museum And this is the outer moat that I'm standing in now, what used to be the outer moat, between the two walls. And you can see the original outer wall from the 15th century just ahead. And the stonework on that wall that comprises the wall is very, very similar to the walls downstairs in the basement of the prison area. So this is the later outer walls. There's a piece of wall just up ahead, and I can just see the division which would have partitioned the inner moat under city walls to the outer moat here. You can see by looking at the end of this building the two sections of wall, and there's a map on the wall which actually illustrates those two sections of wall and the outer wall and the moat. I hope you've enjoyed this history special, and if you want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow my journey, because there are plenty more history specials on my channel and plenty more to come. Thank you for watching.